Welcome to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be working on something a bit more complicated and possibly even more complicated than it needs to be, based around creating custom animations for your Twitch stream. So, an issue I ran into while trying to figure out how to make some really cool custom stuff for my Twitch stream was a number of things. What the tutorials show you when you look them up aren't all that custom, to be honest with you. They're kind of boring, they're kind of lame. Besides changing the color scheme of them, there's not really anything cool or, any good flair to them. So I did a ton of research. I actually went way beyond just like creating custom alerts, and I dabbled around in some editing software, some creating some certain things, and I'm going to show you guys that today to make some really unique custom animations for your Twitch or your, whatever your live stream software is. I'm YouTube. YouTube's the place to be here in 2021, so that's where I'm at. And I want to show you guys how I figured this out. There's several steps. It can take a little bit, so definitely strap in. If it's something you really want to do and you just can't figure out how you want to do it, I'm going to give you a solution. So just to give you a little background, my stream is Dragon Ball themed. I'm a huge Shonen fan in general. I'm not young, so I've been watching Dragon Ball since it was airing live on Toonami and Adult Swim and all that back in the day. So I'm a huge fan. I just will always enjoy the show. It's not necessarily my favorite anime anymore. I think I've converted to One Piece as probably my favorite, but it'll always have a special place in my heart. So my stream is set up that way. But the issue I ran into is I wanted to make some cool custom animations around Dragon Ball, and specifically Dragon Ball Abridged. So if you know anything about Dragon Ball, you've probably heard of Dragon Ball Abridged, and it's just like a parody, a comedy version of the show. It's hilarious. It's a lot of fun. So I wanted to make it even a little more custom, and I wanted to have my stream not only Dragon Ball themed, but Dragon Ball Abridged themed. So I have it set up specifically that way, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of the custom animations that I have just to show you. And bear in mind, they're pretty new. I know how to do it now, but I'm still working on exactly what sounds and audio files and stuff I want to use. But the physical animations themselves are what we're focusing on today, and I have those pretty well figured out. So I'm going to jump over to my stream scene here in OBS just to show you exactly what those look like. So pretty quick and easy. I can just run over to my Streamlabs real quick and I can fire some tests off. So as a new streamer, I don't quite have everything set up yet because I don't have super chats available, things like that. I actually don't even have members available yet, but I have it set up here anyways. I have donations, subscriber, and member set up here for YouTube so far. So I'm just going to show you each one of those. A couple of them more complicated than others. My first one's basic. It's my donation one I have set up, and I have this one set up where the actual animation itself doesn't interact with the text at all, and you'll see the difference. So my other two will have where the animation interacts with the text, and that's where things can get tricky and a little more tedious, but the first one's pretty simple here. This is just my donation, so I'll show you this to start with.
All I wanna do is see you turn into a Super Saiyan, a Super Saiyan.
The next one I'm going to show you here is my subscriber one. So this is the basic one that everyone will see because you can subscribe anytime on YouTube. I like this one a lot. I'm a huge Piccolo fan, always have been. The audio file I'm not quite sure on. I had an old version that I actually might like more, but I've been playing around with a couple of different ways. But I'm going to show you this one just to kind of give you a good idea of what I'm talking about when it comes to animations interacting with the text in a way.
Why didn't you dodge?
So the first hurdle I ran into, and actually I'm going to go ahead and enlarge this just so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But there's not actually a way to make it so that the text appears behind the image. Because my idea was I wanted these explosions or whatever to come in and kind of cover up / erase the text. And that's kind of the idea behind it. To kind of have each little alert to be its own little full story. I don't want just like the text to just disappear randomly for no reason, like a lot of them do. I wanted it to come in and go out for, like, disappear for a reason. So I'm going to run this again and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Why didn't you dodge?
So what I had to do was do some coding in Streamlabs, which I'll show you guys how to do that towards the end when we get to that part of the step or that part of the process, to make the text actually kind of fade out before the rest of the image so that it kind of looks like it's being incinerated by the explosion or whatever. So again, I'll run it one more time.
Why didn't you dodge?
So like the explosion comes in and the text kind of fades out as if it's being, burned away or whatever. And you'll see that on the member one too. So the last one I have set up is just member, and I'll show you that one real quick.
I am the hype!
So the idea there, he's firing the key wave. It's kind of incinerating the text. And this is personal preference. This is just the way I wanted to do it. This is the vision I kind of had in my head. Yours can be completely different. Of course, it can be whatever theme you want it to be. It doesn't have to even be anime related. Just wherever you can find what you need. I'm going to show you how to edit them, to customize them, to work with your stream and make it a little more custom to you. The audio files, I'll show you how to find some. It's not like it's not a difficult thing. I just basically looked up, for mine, I looked up Dragon Ball Z abridged sound files, and I got like a whole list of sound files I downloaded that I'm going to play around with. But yeah, so it's a lot of different steps to accomplish this, especially if you're on Windows compared to Mac. On Mac, there's actually a couple less steps because the way you can convert files works a little differently. But first step, we're going to jump right into this. I'm going to show you step one. I know we're already 6.5 minutes in, but we're going to jump right in. Step one's pretty simple. Find what you need. So I just searched a bunch of GIFs. So right now I just looked for a Gohan GIF. I found some GIFs. I didn't really find exactly what I wanted. So you can actually go directly to like certain websites, and this can be a little unsavory. So make sure you have your protection or whatever on if you need it, because they're not always good. But I clicked on this one and it took me to a list of Gohan GIFs. And there's a lot of websites that are like this. It's literally just a bunch of GIFs that you can select. I went with this bottom one here. So I downloaded this GIF, and that's what I'm going to utilize to start with. I'm going to take this GIF. You can see how quick this animation is compared to my other ones. This is only like a 1.5 second GIF. I want it to be drawn out. I want it to be a little longer. I want that little charge up time to be a little longer so that it gives time for the text to appear on screen before it's destroyed. And then from there, we'll make some adjustments on the size of the GIF, things like that, to make it fit better into my animation. So I just copied this one. I just hit save image as, because a GIF is technically an image. And then from there, you want to go to a website called EasyGIF. So this is actually a way to edit or customize GIFs. And we're going to start by initially cropping this GIF is what I'm going to do. And again, the formation you do this might be different, but I'm going to crop it first because I want to separate Gohan from the key blast, which you'll see in a second. I'm going to choose the file. Here's the Gohan right here. So that's the file I want. Upload. And you'll see the GIF. Here's the GIF. Pretty straightforward. The problem I run into is I want the explosion separated from Gohan. So right about there is probably good. And of course I want the full length of it in the GIF here. And I don't need all this extra. I'm actually get a little extra length just to be safe. So I actually just want this part for now. So I'll do is select the area I want, crop it. And again, this is if you want to do something like this. So actually you can see I cropped that really well. I split that off pretty perfectly. And I actually want to make this explosion a little bigger because I want to make sure it covers up the text when the time comes. So I'm going to pretty easily just go ahead and hit resize. I want it to be, let's do twice the size. Resize the image. It'll make it bigger and longer. That's kind of what I'm looking for. That's a pretty huge image right there. That should be enough. And then I'm going to slow it down too because it's a bit too fast. So let's try a lot slower. And all you have to do is just select speed. Let's do half speed. Yeah, that looks okay. And then it's quick and it's as easy as just saving that file. Now I have that saved. And then I also want to cut out the opposite where I want just Gohan. So I have him separated from the key blast. So this is going to be a little trickier because I want to make sure I get his hands without all of the extra. So you just tinker. A lot of this is honestly just tinkering. Finding exactly what you want, what you need. Let's crop and see how we did. Yeah, looks like we did pretty darn good there too. Not really any key blast showing. And then I'm going to slow that down too. So we're going to go and do half speed. Actually, I don't like half speed. We're going to go slower than that. Let's try 50%. That seems like a good charge time. I like that. And then we're going to go ahead and save that. Now we have two different items here. From here, we're going to go into Adobe After Effects. So it's important to note, you do need some sort of software to do this, but it's also even more important than that to note that every version of Adobe has a 7-day free trial. So we're going to be using both After Effects and Photoshop in this specifically. All you have to do is create a quick profile. You can download it. You can get a 7-day free trial with any of the software. It gives you plenty of time to kind of master this and figure it out. It took me several hours to make my first one to kind of figure out how to do this. Watching tons of different content. I had to figure out how to convert files from one to another. And it was a whole mess, but I have all the answers now. I'm going to show you guys here. Hopefully I can get this done in about a half-hour total video time. We're only 11 minutes in, and we've picked a GIF is basically all we've done. So we're going to kind of accelerate a little bit. From here, you just need to open After Effects. That's where we're going to go to next. I have a blank one open here, so it's pretty simple. New project. Don't need to save this one. New composition. Leave it 1920 by 1080. And then your duration, I set mine to about 5 seconds. My GIF is only going to be about 3 or so. The extra time doesn't really matter. We're not going to keep that time anyways. We're going to clip that out when it comes to Photoshop. So 5 seconds is plenty. Go and hit OK. You want to make sure you have 1920 by 1080, and you'll see why later, because we're going to have to center our GIF properly to cover the text, because they are two completely different programs that do that. Or Streamlabs puts the text in a very specific location. We're basically trying to match that up preemptively with our GIF. You'll see that when we get there. And then your first thing you want to do when you get in here, mine automatically does it because I have it saved that way, is you're going to have this black box. You don't want this black box. You want a transparent background. You want your GIF to not cover up anything. You don't want like a black box behind your GIF when it pops up on your stream. Doesn't look as clean. We're going to go ahead and toggle transparency grid. Hit this little box right here. And then boom, now we have a transparent background. And then all we're going to do from here is just go to our downloads. That's where those two GIFs went. I've done a bunch of these, so I'm on GIF 21 and 22 at this point, because I've practiced this a lot. I'm going to throw these in here. And then we also want these to appear in a specific order. We want the key blast to be on top of the GIF, so the orientation that we add them into our scene will stack them. So we're going to go ahead and put Gohan in first. And then once we add the key wave, it'll put it above Gohan. I think I did that right. I still mess myself up on that one all the time. And then we'll just run this animation to make sure I put it correctly. Nope, see, I did it backwards. So I'm actually going to remove Gohan, add Gohan back in. See, I want the key blast to be over top of Gohan. And then the next couple things are going to be, take a couple seconds to get this all lined up, because as you can see, this is not correct. We want his hands to come out, and we want the key blast to appear at the same time. So we're going to be doing some editing about that. Oh, look at that. Boom, nailed it. But now we're going to run to the problem where this portion's off. So actually, this is kind of how I prefer it. I was going to make this adjustment anyways, and I'll show you guys how to do it anyways, even though I don't need to. I want the key blast to disappear before Gohan. So he fires the key blast, boom. That destroys the text in the alert. And then the key blast disappears, Gohan disappears. So this actually works out really well for me. Just the naturally way this is animated works out really well. But you might get in a situation where you have to extend or shorten one of your things. And it's pretty simple. We're going to go ahead and right click on whichever one it is. We're going to go to time, enable time remapping. And all we have to do now is move these keystones around. So you can see right there, I move that keystone. And now it gives me the ability to actually adjust my scene length. So if I do that, then it's going to be way off. So you can see how much off that is now. And I can also extend this too. So I can pull this out. Wherever this keystone ends up at is the maximum you can do. Like this is how the keystone is where the scene ends at. So even if I have this before this, it doesn't really change anything because the keystone determines. So you can see that this is still way off based on the keystone. But now I can take this and boom. Now I can extend this, which is going to make it last even longer. See, now look how long it takes to fire the key blast. So it's a whole thing. You can edit the length, the duration, things like that pretty easily. Again, it's a simple right click, time, enable time remapping, adjust your keystones here, adjust your lengths of your bars, get your stuff matched up nice and perfectly, whatever you're trying to accomplish there with your animations, and you're good to go. You can line them up perfect. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and undo this because it actually worked out about perfect for me. So I don't actually need my keystones at all. But actually, I might end up utilizing it anyways, because if you notice here, this is a really short GIF actually. It only tallies about 1.5 seconds. So you can see right here, that's the 1 second marker. This is the 2 second marker here. I like my GIF to be 2 to 3 seconds long. So actually, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and just drag this out to 3 seconds. Drag this out to let me see the spacing to make sure. So we go from about 10.5, so we're about 10 units difference. So we'll put that right there to the 3 second mark. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add mapping to this one too, because I'm gonna make this longer. And we're basically just gonna drag this out to there, extend this out and see how that works, see what it does. And I'll have to play around with this to make it proper. But we're gonna go ahead and just, so you see how that's slightly off. I'm just gonna bring that back a little bit. There's maybe forward a little bit. Yeah, see, boom. Now we're right back online. And then fire blast or fires key blast disappears, Gohan disappears. So you have Gohan charging it up. Boom, 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 boom. And then, okay, so what you guys are seeing here now is we have about 2 seconds, and you can see the 2 second marker right here of Gohan charging up his key blast. What that's going to do is it's going to leave the text on screen for 2 seconds. And I'll actually do I'll show you real quick. So I'm just going to go ahead and hide this real quick, and we're going to throw a quick little text box up here. It'll just say blank as subbed, even though that's not quite exactly what would happen. We'll just go ahead and move this box real quick, just to kind of get it lined up. And then, so 2 seconds of charging, you're going to see who subbed. You're going to get, oh, cool. You know, I can see my sub on the screen. And then boom, key blast comes in, erases the crap out of that. And then I'll have it set up in Streamlabs for that text to disappear before Gohan, before the key blast disappears. So it'll appear as if I just erased it, boom, gone. That's the idea I want with my animations. Yours can have their own ideas. You have your own brain. You'll come out with exactly how you want to do it. But that's more or less how this animation itself will work. I want to keep it transparent again. I don't really need the text line, so we're going to delete that. That's just kind of a visual representation of what we're going to do. And then we're actually just going to take this animation right here as is, and we're going to render this. So we're going to add it to the render queue, which is going to change this whole setup down here. You want to rename it. So I'm actually okay with comp11, but we're going to change the actual file type here. So we're going to pick QuickTime. So whether you're on Mac or PC, QuickTime is what we're going to do here. Just to kind of get this figured out. And then we're going to change our channel to RGB plus alpha. When you have RGB plus alpha, it's going to show your image. Plus it's going to add the transparent background. If you don't add this alpha, and that's specifically why we're using QuickTime. Only AVI and QuickTime in this setup will allow us to add the transparent background. If you're on Mac specifically, you can actually just convert this directly to a GIF. So it's actually a GIF option, which is really cool and really nice. And the GIF option can be with alpha. On PC, that's not an option, so we're going to have an extra step. We're going to have to take it to Photoshop to make that final adjustment there to then transfer it to a GIF and allow it to keep its transparent background, which is a bit annoying, but that's just how it has to work on PC. So RGB plus alpha, go and hit OK. And now we have it set to QuickTime. You can see it changed here. And then comp 101, and now it's a movie file. Then we're going to hit render. Let me change my name real quick, because I don't know what comp. We'll just call it comp 1. I don't remember what the other one is. It's probably garbage, but just in case, we'll just change it to that. Name it whatever you want. And we're going to render it. You'll see it happening, and then animation. Boom, boom. Disappears. The remaining 5 seconds. A little very loud alert that lets us know it's done. And then I'm going to launch Photoshop from here. It's interesting because you think of Photoshop as just pictures, images, but you can actually boot up files here. So we're going to go create new, and I'm going to do a 1920 by 1080. Background content, transparent. Want to make sure we select transparent. Orientation, we're going to leave it that way. So I got this nice box, and then I'm going to open this comp 1.2. And you're actually going to see down here at the bottom. Let me move it over so you get the full effect here. Now I have the actual GIF in a video file right there in the center of my screen. Boom. And now what we're going to have to do is try to center this key blast as best as possible. So this is where the tricky part comes in, because we want this key blast to cover the text, but we don't know where the text is going to appear. So let's jump back over to Streamlabs real quick just to kind of give you an idea what the heck I'm talking about. So when you're in your alert box, you have a couple of different options. You have text, you have image with text below it, you have text with, or image with text above it, or image with text next to it. We want this to line up so that the image and the text interact with each other for this particular GIF style. So, or this particular alert style. So I'm going to do text over image. There's no way to do an image over text. I've even tried to do custom adjustments to make that happen. So like you can see, this one I just have it set up this way. So let's jump over to subscriber. You have image over text, or text over image. And then I actually did some CSS adjustments, which I'll go over when we get to that point, to make sure that the text fades out before the image. So it's a whole thing, and it's complicated. Once you figure it out, it takes a while to figure out. Once you get it figured out, I can recreate one of these without, recording this in probably about 10 minutes. So I can make these pretty quickly now. The most amount of time I'm going to do is finding the proper GIF that I want to use, finding an audio file. The actual creation is pretty quick. But we'll get to this point in a second, and it's nice because you literally just want to copy paste this exact thing, which I will put in the description, so you can copy paste it, add it, make your adjustments on your time. That'll be good to go. But you can see I have image over text, so I need to make it so that my image appears centered in my screen, so that the text will appear properly directly over the key blast. So it's a whole little mess of trick that you have to figure out. And it's not actually all that hard. So you can see the center box right here, the center square. We kind of want to have that centered on the key blast. So I'm actually going to tighten this way up to make my life easier. So now the center line runs directly across the top of the key blast and then the bottom of the key blast here. Just to make this a little more obvious, I'm going to actually go ahead and zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to hit Control. Let me make sure I'm selecting it. Control plus to get us in there real tight so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So actually, I can even bring this down a little bit. So right here is the top of this line. This box right here. This is the center. This whole box right here, you can barely see it with the line system here. There's a box right here. This is going to be the center of the animation. So I know the text will appear in this area. It's that easy to figure out. So you're just going to size this perfectly to make sure you know your text will appear in the area you want it to appear in. And then from here, we're going to hold Control, Shift, Alt, S is what we're going to want to do here. After we go ahead and hit that button. Control, we want to confirm the crop first. So that's what I just did. So, hey guys, post-production Will here. I actually realized I lost like 7 minutes of audio right in the middle of the recording. It comes back. No idea what happened there. But once we have this centered, it's pretty simple at this point. We have to hold a series of buttons down to pull open a specific screen. So we're going to hold Control, Shift, Alt, S. Pops open this little window. And we're just going to make sure a couple things are checked here. Nothing too crazy. We're going to change this. We're going to change our file type to GIF. So make sure this is set to GIF. And then we're going to do the GIF 128 dithered. So we're going to want it dithered. Have this set selective. This set to diffusion. This set, and then make sure transparency is checked because you want that transparent background. This should automatically set itself to be this way. These will probably mostly set themselves to be this way. So just go ahead and leave it that way. And then it's as simple as hitting save. So mine might yell at me because I already have one made here because, again, post-production, I've already done this and recorded all this. So let's see if it yells at me or not. If not, it'll just save it right here to my folder. I have this set to my animations folder. Yep, replace. Yep, replace it just fine. And now we're going to go ahead and jump straight over to Streamlabs to get the rest of this set up. So we're going to go ahead and pull open Streamlabs. And I'm just going to be throwing this right over my Vegeta one that I showed you for my members, because it's basically the same setup there. What we're going to do is go here to the image. So this is the GIF file. We're going to hit download. And then we're going to go to our uploads. And then we're going to add that file. So mine's in my animations folder. This is the file here. You just drag it, drop it here, it uploads it. I already have it uploaded because I've already made this. And here's the file is. Then I just select the file itself. Boom. It'll change the file right here to this one. And then I go ahead and hit save. So there's going to be a lot of tweaking and stuff to do because this doesn't match up properly with the animation that I have for my Vegeta one. But it'll just show you how it works here. So now we're going to hit test member. If it wants to save it properly. Sometimes you gotta hit save a couple of times for it to update the animation. Let's try now. Yep, see. Now we're seeing the Gohan animation. Obviously timing is incorrect. That doesn't help us much there. So we can adjust that timing pretty simply. So we can change the alert duration if we need to whatever amount of seconds that we need it to be. We don't want it to be too long where it is a GIF, so it will loop. So you want to make sure you set it to a time where your GIF doesn't like start looping before it disappears. You don't want that. So bring that down. So we can set, let's say 3 seconds for that. Then once you have that duration set up, you're going to have to go down to here where it says enable custom HTML CSS. So right now it's enabled. That's why you can see it. It'll be disabled by default. So this is what you'll see when you pull into this. So go ahead and click enable. And then I want the text to last longer because as we saw, that disappeared. So under this alert text addition that we put in there, again, it's just going to be this portion right here that we're going to be adding in. It will be in the link to the description if you want to add it. So you just go to your CSS, scroll all the way down to the bottom, add a new line item, copy paste it, that easy. And then the fade out time. So what this is showing us is animation fade out. So this will fade out 1 second before the animation completes for a duration of 3 seconds. So the total animation is 3 seconds. Basically the text will disappear 1 second before that, allowing the text to fade out before the rest of it fades out. So I'm just going to adjust that because I have that set to 3 seconds. I'll set that to 3 seconds as well. Hit save, and I'll test it, see if it looks better. That comes in, key blast, boom. Key blast basically destroys that. I can change my alert duration up a little bit. Let's try 5 seconds because it all disappears together and I don't quite want that. Test member, it comes in, boom. So, and then see it starts looping. We don't want that to loop. So we'll bring it down to 4 seconds. Save it again just to be safe. Sometimes you gotta save it a couple of times. Test member. Boom. See, it still loops a little bit. I can tinker around with that more to get it perfect. But again, you want to make sure you have the text over image. We'll do text next to image because I cropped my stuff out so it looks a little different. That should do it though. So you see Gohan's really tiny over here and the text is over there. So they're very separated. That's why you want this text over image because you want it to overlap each other. And that's where it comes in. Image over text, they combine. Gohan destroys the text. That's kind of what we're looking for. So that's gets you to the end game there. Add your audio file, whichever audio file you need. So let's say you want to do like a levitation sound effect. Let's say you're doing the Harry Potter levitation thing or, whatever it might be. You're doing something maybe not anime related. But you want your GIF to interact with the text somehow. It's pretty simple. You just Google levitation sound effects, find one you like, download it, and then you just apply it here. I have a bunch already uploaded. I have a bunch of different sound effects uploaded, and I have a ton more to add. You can just pick different ones you want to use. It's pretty simple. Make sure the duration of the alert is similar to the duration of the GIF, or that it happens in the order you like. So like I have Vegeta doing his thing, yelling, "I am the hype," and then firing the key blast. Like the audio is much shorter, but it gets the point across. He says it, boom, key blast. And then you could change the name of this too. So I changed, has become a Z Warrior because that's their whole thing, Z Warriors. It's part of the comedy of it. Like no one's ever called them Z Warriors, but outside of the show, they're called Z Warriors. So it's they make fun of it in abridged, and I like it, so I just put it in there. That's basically the gist of it. So yeah, it's a lot of steps. Once you get to know it, again, just a few minutes. I can recreate one of these from scratch without like trying to record a video in about 10 minutes. So it's pretty quick. The most work goes into finding the audio files, finding the GIF I want, things like that. And then once I go to cut them up and do that stuff with like Easy GIF. So once I find the GIF I want and I chop it all up and I customize it the way I want it to, I just upload those into Adobe After Effects, move them, adjust the timings, all that stuff like I showed you, and then render that out in a movie file, upload it into here, get it centered so it covers the text properly, and then I export it as a GIF with the Control-Shift-Alt-S method. So once you get it set up, it's pretty easy to recreate, but there is multiple different programs that you have to run through. But again, you get 7-day free trial, and to be completely honest with you, like if this 7-day free trial wears out, you can just make another fake email address, create another, re-download it with a new profile, and continue reusing this as many times as you want. So it'll always be free as long as you need it. It's a little bit of a pain to recreate it. So if you guys like what you see, this was helpful to you, leave a comment, like the video, definitely subscribe if you want more cool stuff like this. Definitely ask questions, especially if you know an even easier way to do this. Let me know. I would love to have that information. Make my life easier, make all of our lives easier. I'm sure people reading the comments would want to know other ways to do it. So it takes a little bit of time to learn, but easy to recreate to get more unique custom animations for your stream. Something that nobody else is definitely going to have, because this is completely handmade from scratch with several different files and things like that. So it's very unique to you. And I think pretty much anybody can do it with just a little bit of effort. Again, I'm completely new to content creation when it comes to YouTube. I streamed on Twitch for quite a long time. I've been an affiliate for years, but I've switched over to YouTube full time. I want to make YouTube content. I want to help people make their streams better, make their content better. Ways to do this for free or for as little as humanly possible. So check out some of my other videos that are going to be related to that. And we'll just keep pushing forward, making more great stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.